what happened with the bullish momentum we saw in 2020? Well, it's all sort of died out right now, and the Euro USD hasn't really done too much over the last couple of days and weeks. So people are sort of scratching their heads trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Well, I'm telling you guys, it's not about buying dollars or selling dollars right now. It's more about focusing on the British pound and probably buying a bit more of them. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's market update. All right, so you're looking here at the Euro USD, and you can see that not much has happened. We reached these levels here on January 11th, and it's now January 27th, and we haven't really seen any big moves. And if you sort of step back even further, you can see here that since the 3rd of December, we haven't really done any major changes either. So we're pretty much trading sideways here for about 2 months. Now, it's likely that this is going to continue. I mean, if you look at something like the dollar yen, it's also not going anywhere fast. Aussie dollar as well, it's sort of been trading sideways here since 31st of December. So it's overall really quiet. But what you have seen, and we have seen in the past, is GBPUSD, it sort of maintains this bullish uptrend. And if you look at the latest COT positioning report, people are not necessarily very long or very short the British pound, which does allow for this to trade upwards over the next couple of weeks and months. And something that grabbed my attention today is this, which is the British pound against the Canadian dollar. So what you're focusing on here and what you're seeing here is a small rectangle pattern. So this pattern started to develop here on December 24th. So the price got rejected here, then got rejected here on December 31st, January 13, and then January 21st. Oh, sorry, January 20th. Now I know I'm not focusing exactly on this level here, which is where the original breakout happened, which is 174.34. And the reason for not doing that is that I'm focusing on this big level. And this little rectangle, what I call a small rectangle here, that suggests that if we do trade and sort of close above 7477, we can potentially trade as high as 7781. That will be the target on that. And depending on where you put your stop loss, you can get anything from something like 4.22 times residual ratio to maybe 2.63, depending on where you place it. But what's also interesting is that if you look at this from the big picture perspective, you have a big rectangle here as well. Now that big rectangle has a target of 182, which is obviously significantly higher. We just need to leave this range. Something as well that caught my attention, I know not a lot of people don't trade this, I trade it once in a while, a couple of times per year, is the British pound against the Hungarian forint. Here you have a big head and shoulders with head, left, right shoulder, and the break here, which we're trying to trigger today, suggests we can go up with all the way up here to 428. Again, depending on how you work with stops and things like that. And I wouldn't necessarily buy this today, but you're looking at maybe 5.5 times reward ratio. You have something more familiar, which is the British pound against the Japanese yen, which as well, this is a small ascending triangle, and we're trying to break here. And if we manage to do that, we could be trading here 200 pip higher at 144.36. As well, we had a big rectangle here that I focused on in 2020, and that triggered here. That's also suggests we're going to the upside. So we have a bunch of pairs here which are looking really interesting, and they all sort of supporting a move higher in the British pound. And when you see this correlated across the board, it's something to pay attention to. And it does look like being a buyer of British pound over the next couple of weeks is probably the best option given these patterns. We'll see, of course. We are trying to break out of GBPCAD, and I guess we'll know before the end of the day if it was a proper breakout today or if we need to wait another day. Now, these type of patterns is what I trade. These are the sort of patterns I trade with my own personal account, and something I've done very well for many years. In fact, last year I had a triple-digit return using these patterns alone, and I traded a bunch of stuff like British pound, currencies, indices, commodities, you name it, cryptos as well, a ton of them. I trade with these classic patterns. So you definitely want to check those out, learn a bit more about them. And if you want to go more in depth, then you can always get my free course with ATFX account, which is free to open as well. So you can check that out. You go to atfx.com and you can create a free account there. Okay, guys, that concludes today's market update. If you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments. If not, I'll see you guys for the next market update, which is going to be on Friday. Thanks so much, and bye.